Jay, let's just talk about the pullback and deglobalization to this point. I mean, there is significant risk, I think, just based on the heated rhetoric that's going back and forth between China and the United States. What are companies doing about it?
Well, look, over the past 20 years, you have it exactly right. We have become deeply integrated. Starts with trade, then it went to production and financial markets. Some of this manifested itself in things we were dealing with when I was at the SEC around the PCAOB. But what do we know now? We know we're going to stay integrated, but there's actually going to be some pullback. And if you look at this from both sides, right, we are highly reliant on China. We saw that in the supply chain. We saw it in production. We're pulling back from that. You know, disruptions in China are going to disrupt supply in the United States. Mm-hmm. We can come back to inflation, how that might be actually affecting inflation in a way we didn't anticipate. On the other side, if you're China, you want control. We're seeing that. And being deeply integrated with the United States and relying on the United States, relying on the West in a way that maybe you're not comfortable with. So we're having somewhat of a reset. Look, I think it's a fascinating thing from a company perspective, but also more broadly from a market perspective. If we've been looking at the drivers of inflation and inflation predictions, we've actually gotten it wrong. All of the experts over the last 6-9 months have said that inflation is going to come down faster than it actually has. Mm-hmm. One of the drivers of that, of what I would say is the persistent inflation, is this, what I would say is de-integration, right? The ability to increase supply is not there like it was. And as you de-integrate and shift, anytime you have a transition, costs are going to increase. Mm-hmm. So I think we should look at this as just another factor that policymakers and companies are going to need to deal with as we go through this price adjustment mechanism or price adjustment phase.
I think we probably got caught up with the idea that, yes, globalization is a good thing. It does bring down costs. It does do all of those things. But if you are too reliant on one player, that's not a great idea. It's just as we pull back and as China tries to crack down and maybe not get its market taken away from it, it could lead to some really bad disruptions for companies that do have heavy reliance.
Yeah, it may be an oversimplification, but if you look at the 10 years where we were worried that inflation wasn't high enough, mm-hmm. right? What do we think the drivers of that were? Globalization and tech. And right now we have a reverse in globalization. So maybe it shouldn't surprise us that inflation is more persistent than it was for that reason.
But you're not calling for companies to not kind of find other ways to make sure they diversify?
No, I think actually, it's a lesson learned, right?
A lesson learned meaning you can't be too reliant.
Meaning that when you drive things down to the absolute lowest cost, your resiliency almost always disappears.
You think of some of these companies, though, and I would put Tesla and Apple, maybe Nike, all those companies very high up on that list. How do they disentangle without really taking too much of a hit to be able to continue?
Well, this isn't binary, right? It's not you're in or you're out, but we are having a readjustment. We're having a readjustment from a political perspective, from an operational perspective. And look, maybe I'm too much of an optimist. This is an area where Washington has a bipartisan common view, which is
it'd be the only area.
Yes, but look, as we try to get this right. If it becomes a focal point for cooperation, look, we're going to the election, but if this becomes a focal point for cooperation post the election, maybe we can get other things right, because actually it's not an isolated thing. Like, clearly our relationship with China has an effect on the economy more broadly and other drivers of inflation.
Where is the cooperation in Washington right now on this front? Because it seems hard line and harder line are kind of the two stances you see.
Well, I think there's definitely cooperation around the capital markets aspect of this and whether Chinese companies will delist. That was one of the few pieces of legislation that you saw go through both houses of Congress with virtually no opposition signed into law. And I think, it's supported by the American people. The American people are like, if you're not going to play by the same rules, time to choose a different game. That's sort of, I think, the sense.
That seems so obvious. I can't believe that it was allowed to continue the way it was for so long.
Well, look, I think people are always hopeful that you're going to make progress on cooperation, but at some point you have to call the question, and that's what happened in the Kennedy-Van Hollen bill and said, okay, enough is enough. If we don't get there by a certain date, we're going to cause delisting.